Hello everyone, I'm Stella from Stella's Yarn Universe. In this little tutorial I show you how to make these little gnome or elf girls. And this is actually kind of a part 2 of the last video I shared on how to crochet a little elf. So all I did was add braids to the little elf to make him look more girly. So in this video I show you how to do that. If you didn't watch the little elf video and you want to make the little elf girl or gnome girl, whatever you may want to call it, I'll link to the elf tutorial right here in the upper right corner and in the description box below, so you can first crochet your little elf and then you can get back to this video to see how I added the braids to the head. So without further ado, let's hop right into this tutorial. So I have 24 pieces of yarn here in the color that I'd like the hair to be. And they are about 20 centimeters long, about 8 inches. And they are 12 each for each braid. So let's start with one side. And I start attaching the hair 1, 2, 3, 4 with 4 rounds space between the eyes and the hairline. So actually it looks like 3 because the eyes are inserted here in between these 2 rounds. So I'm not counting these because that's where the eyes actually end. So it's actually 1, 2, 3 if you will. And here is where we start attaching them. So I'll attach this side first, and so I turn our little doll upside down, and then 1, 2, 3, and here we just go in between rounds. We just go and pick up a piece of yarn here in between the rounds, in between stitches, and that's where we pull the yarn through. So now we just take one of those pieces of yarn and find the middle. So we fold them in 2, so we have 2 strings here. Then this loop that we built by finding the middle, we just put on our hook and pull it through there. So now we have a loop here and the 2 yarn ends. Just try to make sure that they are both equally long, more or less. And then we pick up the 2 yarn ends and pull them through this loop and pull it tight. And that's the first pair of hairs, the first piece of yarn attached. So this way I just go along the parting. So next I find a place somewhere here, and then for this side of the hair I always my hook points to that side that I'm attaching right now, as you can see. So then again we grab another piece of yarn, pop that on, pull it through, attach it, and we do this with all 12 pieces of yarn and trying to get the line here as straight as possible. It's impossible to get it 100% straight, so don't worry about that. Here, that's the middle of the magic ring that we started with, so that was a bit difficult to get through there. And we we attach one here. Sometimes a little bit of fiber fill may come out. You can just remove it. Also, she will wear her hat, so it doesn't have to be completely perfect, at least if you ask me. So, another one here. Sometimes you can just check and make sure that it's more or less aligned. Another one. And this way I just work my way down toward the neck. Sometimes just making sure that I'm not accidentally moving into the other side of the head, but that looks okay so far. And one more. And that's it. So now we have the first side attached. So now we can go ahead and attach the other side, and for the other side the hook should point to that side where we're attaching the next set of 12 pieces of yarn. Maybe it's not perfectly centered, the parting, but honestly that's not an issue. You know, so I'm not leaving any space really. I just attached the other side right next to the side that's already done. So if I attached, so I attached the the left side here, and then I just go, oops, in the same spot, but toward the other side to attach a piece of yarn on the opposite side. And that's it, that's the other side attached. So that's how it looks. And because we are making braids, we don't really need any hair underneath here, because that part is just going to be covered. And honestly, it would be quite difficult to fit the head over this voluminous hair, so we just leave it at that. Now we can make the braids. So I'll just cut 2 short pieces of yarn. I mean, they should still be long enough to make a little bow like we did here. So now we have 24 hairs on each side. So let's divide them evenly into 8 hairs each. So that means 4 pieces of yarn. So 1, 2, 3, 4. That's the first 8. 1, 2, 3, 4. That's the second 8, and then we have 8 here. So let me see how I did this for Gunhild. So I started with the one in the front. Okay. So now we just make a little braid. I try to cover the scalp as best as I can. But again, I'm not too worried about it because I like her to wear her hat anyway. So I started with the part in the front here, and then I just continue until it's as long as her height, or maybe even a bit longer. So then, once we're there, I'll take a red piece of yarn or any color you like. I'm using the same one that I used for the body. And then I just tie a knot. First I secure it by making a double knot. Oops. And then I make a little bow out of it. So once it has the right size, you can pull it a bit tighter. Just play around with it until you're happy with the size of it. I'll cut all these ends later. First I do the other side. They dropped something on the roof. Okay, so now I'm just cutting. Okay. Now I'm just cutting the ends of the little bows. Somewhere here, and then I'll also cut the hair. And the other side. There we go. So now we just put on the head. Let's see if it still fits. Pull it down into the neck to make sure that she can actually see. And that's it. So we turned the little elf into a little elf girl or gnome girl. Whatever she may be. So now you can put her somewhere standing up. Or I can show you what I did to hang her in the tree. The same method I used for the little elf. So you just stitch through the head here through the first round where we made the 6 single crochet with a green piece of sewing thread. Then you stitch through the tip of the head, either at the same spot with both ends or at different spots close to each other, doesn't matter. And this way you can hang her in your tree. Thank you so much for crafting along with me. I hope you enjoyed this little project. If you did, feel free to like this video. And if you have any questions, just leave me a comment below and I'll get back to you as soon as I can. Also make sure to subscribe to my channel if you haven't already and turn on notifications so you won't miss any of my future amigurumi tutorials. Thank you so much. Happy creating. Bye.